Hi guys, my name is Diego, and in this video we're going to be covering the 3 basic intervals that every young singer should know. We also are going to explain to you why are they important and mainly how are they going to make you a better vocalist. Check it out. So thank you for joining us. In this channel, we regularly do song tutorials and videos with tips and techniques to get you guys to play music in the easiest and the fastest way possible. So if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial. So let's talk about one of the first concepts. The intervals, same as a person, have a first name and a last name. The first name is going to come from the positioning, and we can talk first about the alphabet. Now, in the musical alphabet, we have from A to G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It keeps on repeating. So one of the first concepts is if two letters are next to one another, and we're talking about next to one another on the alphabet, that is going to be a second. So when we are skipping a note, now we're going to be talking about a third. And those are the intervals that we're going to be talking about in this video. So we're going to have, let's say, from A to D, that will be a fourth. And then if I go from A to E, that will be a fifth. So one of the first things that we want you guys to really focus on this video is going to be a second, a fourth, and a fifth. And the reason is because those first three are the easiest ones to also memorize into how they sound, because we're going to be using some songs so you guys can get familiar with them. So this is the first aspect. The first name of the interval would always get determined from the musical alphabet, and you can see if the note is next to one another or we're starting to skip. And with those skips, that is the distance of the interval and the relationship between the two notes. So what we just explained to you about the letters being next to one another and figuring out the steps also apply here. Now the good thing is here it's easier to see graphically, because if we are going from, let's say, line to the next one up, that we consider to be a step. Now a step, we're almost thinking about a staircase of a building. So if you're in one stair, you're going to the next stair. And in music, it always goes line, space, line, space. So for example, that would be a second because we're going from E to F, but at the same time, you can see graphically that you're going from line to space. Now, it doesn't matter if I'm going now from this one to this one, is another second because we're going from F to G, and at the same time, I can see that I'm going from space to line. Now, the cool thing about this is that when you see this type of distance, I'm going from line to line or space to space, that graphically, again, you can just train your eyes and your mind to know that's a third. So also we can go, this will be, let's say, going from a line to a skip plus a step, that will be a fourth. So just to recap on the first 5 basic intervals, we're gonna have from a step up, line to space or space to line. You're gonna have a skip from, let's say, line to line. That, well, by the way, the first one will be called a second. When we're skipping, that will be called a third. Now, when we're going a skip plus a step, that will be a fourth. So we're talking about line to line plus 1 or space to space plus 1. And then the last one, we're going 2 pretty much skips. So you're going from line to the next line over or space to the next space over, and that will be a fifth. So these are the basic intervals, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And as a singer, we definitely want you guys to not only know that you can figure that out from the alphabet if you write these letters, and this would apply also because you can go, okay, this is an E, and if I write the letters, that's an A. So knowing how much am I skipping there, that is a fourth. So we want you guys to be able to do both, be able to recognize them when you write them and know the distance between them as the first name, and at the same time be able to see them graphically on the treble clef and be able to know then when we're like in steps, second, skip, and third, skip and a skip plus 1 would be a fourth, and then 2 skips would be a fifth. So let's go to a close-up of the piano so we can show you why these are really, really useful for singers. So in this part of the practice, we want you guys to start recognizing the intervals by just listening to them. And on this specific part, you're going to be able to see the keyboard, but in a part I would like for you guys to even try not to look at the video and just listen. But let's start with the basics. Now we're going to show you 3 different intervals that you should start to try to memorize how they sound. And one of the things that we want you is to associate them with 3 different songs. So the first one is going to be C to D, and that's going to be like the beginning of the Happy Birthday song. So the first 2 notes, that distance, and we're trying to just associate the distance of those first 2 notes to the Happy Birthday song. The other 2 intervals, and that, by the way, it's called a major second. And in this part, it's probably important for you guys to memorize the full name, first name and last name of the intervals that we're trying to have you memorize, which will be a major second. And now we're also going to have a fourth. The fourth is going to be between C and F, the way that we covered it on the other portion of the video. And here we're going to call that a perfect fourth. Now the perfect fourth can be associated with the wedding song, one of the bridal marches. So for us, it's important that you guys start associating with, when you hear 2 notes in your mind, try to sing, okay, what are the 3 options? Because we're only going to give you in one of the practices that we're going to link in the description of this video, only those 3 options: major second, which is the Happy Birthday song, a perfect fourth, which would be the wedding song, or a perfect fifth. A perfect fifth happens between C and G. That is going to be like the beginning of Star Wars. So for us, it's really important to start playing some notes, and for you guys in your mind, try to figure out which one of those 3 it is. And we're only giving you those 3 because those 3 are the easiest at the beginning to just separate and be able to, okay, that's a second, that's a fourth, or that's a fifth. And at the beginning, you can even just think of the song. So if you can, in this portion, I will try not to look at the keyboard and just listen to the notes. So for example, if I play this, now ask yourself, does that sound like Star Wars, the wedding song, or the Happy Birthday song? And it is the Happy Birthday song. Now, if I do this, that sounds bigger than the Happy Birthday song, but is it big enough to be the Star Wars? And it's actually the wedding song. And if I give you another example, that will be the biggest interval of the 3, and that will be the beginning of Star Wars. So for us, it's important that you guys truly use your ears and slowly train your ears to be able to recognize these intervals and almost separate them from one another. That is a process that slowly you can include other intervals. We want to link in the description of this video a practice that we have that only includes these 3, so you guys can do that practice and at the same time get some experience in building them. And the next step after that is to be able to sing them. So your teacher may want to play one note and ask you to, above that note, sing a fourth, which would be the beginning of the wedding song, a fifth, the beginning of Star Wars, or the second, which is the Happy Birthday song. And at the beginning, I think it's normal when you're trying this, maybe not to get the notes right, but you can do this on a piano. You can press a note on a piano and just try to sing what will be a fifth above. Try to sing what will be a fourth above. And if you don't get it right, is definitely part of the process. I do believe with a lot of passion that ear training is something that can truly be developed. One of the key things is you need to practice very, very regularly, because this doesn't happen by accident, and it doesn't happen when you just sing songs. It's something that you slowly have to sit down and do intervals so you can recognize them by ear. So that concludes the tutorial, but we wanted to mention a saying that says you can't really sing what you can't hear. So it's important to practice this information, intervals, in a way not only that you're checking how they sound, but at the same time seeing them on paper. Because we want you guys to be as trained as possible in this information, and mainly when you understand intervals and you get to a part of a song that is challenging, if you can figure out what the interval that is giving you a hard time is, chances are you're going to be able to fix it much easier than someone that has no training. So we hope this video was helpful. We definitely want to help you guys out. This is our passion. Our passion is getting young students to learn music the easiest and the fastest way possible. And we hope we catch you guys very soon. Take care.